as we work out of a garage, it's pretty basic, nothing fancy, so we thought we'd make a show about some of the stuff that we do here.
And for our first episode this week, we're going to talk about the next project, which would be this beautiful Bmw E30.
We thought we'd go over some of the parts that we're going to use and kind of give you a basic overview of what the car is. So I've had this car for about a year now, and we've lovingly named it the Red Baron. Up to this point, we've done nothing but chassis work. We've got McGann coilovers front and rear, poly bushings and everything. We upgraded our brakes, basically just went with a slotted rotor, it's factory sized, and an access pad. Got all that from Turner Motorsports. For you guys wanting to run these McGann coilovers, if you're going with a wide tire like our 225, 45, 15 here, we put it on a 15 by 8 inch wheel with 10, I believe 10 offset. But to clear our coils, I had to add an 8 mil spacer. And that got me just enough clearance to not rub the spacer and still be inside our fender lip. Again, one of my favorite things we've done to this car is the Z3 rack. That takes your turning lock to lock from 5 turns to about 2.5. It's about twice as fast. One of my favorite things we've done to this car. About our tires, we talked about the size already, but this is the BFG Rival, and I gotta say I really love this tire. It's very forgiving, has loads of grip, and I've been driving it a year, probably 4,000 miles, and I still got plenty of tread left on it. For a 200 tread wear tire, it's holding up pretty well.
Now for the interior. We started out by removing the dash so that we could get in and redo a bunch of the wiring for the new engine install. There's going to be a new pedal setup in here. Because of the engine install, we had to remove the brake booster. There's just not room for it anymore.
Okay, so what we have here is an M60 out of a 94 740. I decided to go with the M60. We could talk all day about M60, M62 options, but when it comes down to it, the M60 is cheaper. It has some parts that I think are better, in my opinion, than the M62. Roughly the same horsepower. So at the end of the day, it's cheaper, and for me, I like cheap.
The transmission is out of a E39 99 BMW 540, and we went with the newer version transmission because the older ones are more rare and more expensive. This particular one is going to be 6-speed manual, and it should give the car tons of low-end power, and it'll have overdrive for when we're going down the road. All right, so we showed you the car, we showed you the engine, we showed you the transmission. Now these are some of the parts that we need to put it all together. For starters, we have the new pedal mount. This mounts under the dash and allows us to mount our new pedals. Our pedal setup from Wilwood, new clutch and new brake setup, along with Wilwood master cylinder. And all this stuff will be mounted in the car, so we'll have plenty of room in the engine bay for that big honking motor.
And to connect that motor to our 6-speed, we've got a aluminum flywheel I got it from Turner Motorsports. This bad boy weighs 13 pounds versus the factory's 33. Should be a pretty significant reduction there. Since I went with a solid flywheel, this is going to be kind of nerdy. We had to go with a spring hub clutch disc, so we wouldn't have gear shatter in the transmission, just be annoying. This clutch came from UUC. It's about the best company I could find that made a spring hub clutch assembly. Are you going to tell us about our steering? It'll clear that big honking motor you're telling us about?
So we got a couple of new universal joints for our steering shafts. They're going to replace the rag collar and all that other stuff in there that connects the steering wheel to the steering rack. These are a lot smaller, and they'll go around the side of the engine. They won't rub on anything.
And to mount our engine, we got all this gorgeousness from Garagistic. Our pedal mount also came from Garagistic. Those guys do some amazing work. The welds in here, I'll show you later, just gorgeous. These are our motor mounts. They hook up, use a factory style motor mount, hooked to the factory subframe. While we're on the subject of the subframe, not every V8 swap's going to need this subframe spacers, but basically this just drops the subframe so the drive shaft's more in line, and you don't have vibrations and such. Right here in front of me, we've got their 6-speed, I don't know what you want to call it. It stretches out the cross member basically, just kind of like that. The 6-speed training is just a little bit longer than our factory 5-speed, so they, yes, you could cut that out, but it's so easy just to buy their setup. Here we have our X5. These are out of a Bmw X5 manifolds. You can do some shopping around and find these in junkyards. I decided to go ahead and just buy them from Garagistic. They modify them. They put a nice V-band on the end of them for you, and at the end of the day, they're not all that much more than the junkyard's worth. I think
what Nate forgot to mention was the rev shift poly motor mounts. They mount right onto these custom engine mounts, and they'll isolate the engine vibrations from the frame and give it a good solid place to mount. And all of this is all it takes.
While we're talking about Garagistic, I got to show you all the box that they sent this in. This just shows you the kind of people that you're dealing with whenever you buy parts from them. It's just fun to see someone take it to the next step and throw a little humor. We've got our M60 in a swap, or in a box, and somewhere our V8 power. And on that, we close up our first episode of BlockHeads Garage. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. We're going to put a link on for our Facebook page, and find us there. Ask whatever questions you got. The next episode, I think we're going to work on the interior, get that nice pedal set up inside, and show you how all that works. We'll see you then.
Sounds like a plan.
I gotta say a big thank you to our studio audience, because without them, this would not be possible.